I'm Dom of X, comicreleases.com assistant editor. Finally figure out what's coming out when from one place, and today we're going to be talking about Solicitations for Marvel, so let's get into it. And of course, the biggest news that are coming out from the single issues is none other than Joe Kelly back on the Amazing Spider-Man title full-time. We have already seen him take over the reins from Zeb Wells with the 10 Deaths of Amazing Spider-Man, and now we have him showcased full in a back-to-basics run, as if we already hadn't been doing that for the last 9 years, it feels like, but nonetheless, it is going to be a relaunched #1 title, the third time it's happened in the last 7 years, again, with the same premise. This time, Pepe Larraz and John Romita Jr. are joining the fold along with him, with plenty of variant covers to show. The Rampaging Rhino is at the bit of the tongue, interrupting whatever the web case person is slinging. Nonetheless, here a look at the variant covers. Regular cover here by Pepe Larraz. It is a wraparound, and then you have one here by Ryan Stegman, Lee Bermejo, Simone DeMayo, and a hidden gem variant as well. This is $5.99 for 40 pages of content, to those wondering. And then, of course, we have a double shipping this month. It feels like, again, they are continuing the stroll-alongs with this specific Amazing Spider-Man issues. And here's a look at issue 2, continuing the Rampage against Rhino, who is going to be shoring up in this first arc of Amazing Spider-Man. And here you can also see part of the connecting covers by Chris Giarrusillo, which is going to be a main theme of these solicits. You can find these, of course, splattered throughout the document as entailed. But again, it is going to be double shipping, 32 pages for $4.99. And of course, Amazing Spider-Man is no slouch to this. So once again, if you are looking to get into Spider-Man, this is going to be a jumping on point. John Romita Jr. is going to be joining Pepe Larraz on this first issue. How much we do not know, but it does indicate that Larraz will be taking a bigger reign forward because of the Godzilla one-shot event that they have at Marvel, and I'll get to that in a second. Here is a look at Godzilla vs. Hulk, which is by Jerry Duggan and Giuseppe Camuncoli. Giuseppe Camuncoli, again, another one of those Amazing Spider-Man creators or artists, if you may. Godzilla vs. Hulk, here is the regular cover by Giuseppe Camuncoli. Godzilla vs. Hulk by Nick Bradshaw. And then here is the Versus variant by Lee Garbett. In that same manner, we also do have Godzilla vs. Spider-Man issue #1 by Joe Kelly, who is now on Amazing Spider-Man, and Nick Bradshaw. We already saw Nick Bradshaw on that previous cover, or variant cover, I should say, for Godzilla vs. Hulk. Here is a look at the regular cover by Nick Bradshaw and Rachel Rosenberg on colors, one by Greg Land and also Rachel Rosenberg on colors, and then another Lee Garbett versus. So this is continuing the one-shot trend of the Godzilla versus the Marvel Universe one-shots line that they are doing at Marvel. Next up, we do have Daredevil Cold Day in Hell. This is a 3-issue series by Steve McNiven on art and Charles Soule, both of them co-plotting this after a horrible series of events. Matt Murdock is old and his powers have faded to nothing. He will not, however, stand by as his fellow New Yorkers suffer, so instead of swinging around the city from his Billy Club line, he slings soup at a food center for the poor, but when a mysteriously wrinkly old man interrupts a secret convoy, causing an explosion, a deadly gas fills Hell's Kitchen, and this tale takes a turn that will change how you look at the man without fear. This is the only cover that we have available so far, or what was sent to me by Marvel. I have no idea if this is ever going to be in an expanded omnibus by Charles Soule. They probably did not have the foresight knowing that this would be included, but who knows? I don't have any insights there. Marvel also sometimes usually does not tend to throw in these ancillary miniseries into expanded omnis. We have already seen this with Extreme X-Men Volume 2, where we didn't get the Claremont series that came out a couple of years ago slid into that. So Daredevil Cold Day in Hell is going to be not a continuation of Charles Soule's run, but this does look to be like an old man Daredevil type of storyline. Again, 3 issues for 40 pages and $6.99 USD. Also making a big return at Marvel is none other than Cullen, Bunn, and Dalibor Talajic, who were the original creatives on Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe. This time we have him killing the Marvel Universe one last time. Here is a look at the regular cover. Here is a look at the variants as well. One by Greg Land, another one by Dan Panosian, and then one by Lionel Francis Yu with Romulo Fajardo. And we look back at the previous variant. This was a homage variant by Chad Hardin. So this is going to conclude the trilogy. This is a 5-issue miniseries, 32 pages for $4.99. Let's now go ahead and take a look at the One World Under Doom tie-ins, and the first are two brand new series that are tying into One World Under Doom, and the first is Superior Avengers by Steve Fox and Luca Maresca. These aren't your daddy's Avengers. This is going to be a team led by Christophe Vernard, who, if you do not know, is the son of Dr. Doom himself. We have a couple of brand new heroes also thrown into the win side. We already see Steve Fox doing a lot of these brand new heroes over at Marvel with new champions, and this is going to be no exception. Superior Avengers is retailing for 32 pages at $4.99. Here is a look at the variant by Joshua Cassara, and here's another look at the regular cover by R.B. Silva. The 25th issue of Avengers is going to be tied into One World Under Doom as well. This is by Jed MacKay and Valerio Schiti. So this is the regular cover, for those wondering, with Federico Blee colors, a Russell Dodderman variant, along with the Luciano Vecchio variants that he's been doing for a couple of other series. What are the all new, all different Masters of Evil? Well, you have a little bit of a look there at the cover of issue 25. One World Under Doom is also going to continue, of course. This is issue 3. Here is a look at the cover by Ben Harvey, with a variant cover by Gabriel Dell'Otto, along with, again, another one of those Marvel Universe connecting variants by Chris Giarrusso. I hope I'm not botching the name. The Avengers have faced doom and lost, but Earth still needs avenging. So what is going to be going on in the third issue of One World Under Doom? Continuing on, we also do have Red Hulk, which is tying in, $3.99. Hunted by Doom by Benjamin Percy and Jeff Shaw. Thunderbolt Ross has escaped Dr. Doom's dungeon. The wounded general is too weak to turn into the Red Hulk. So will these heroes survive? And by that I mean Machine Man and Deathlock. Will they survive the ending of this issue? Here is a look at the regular cover by Jeff Shaw, and here is the variant cover by John Jang, I should say. Fantastic Four, issue number 31 by Corey Smith on art, with Joshua Cassara continuing his regular cover spree. And here is a look at... They have been doing this with Amazing Spider-Man, and they're now bringing it to Fantastic Four, these sort of Disney what-if variants, so they are continuing the line there as well by Claudio Schiarone. In this case, we don't have a Marvel Universe connecting cover available, but this is what we do have. Fantastic 2, as Ben recovers from what Doom has done to him, the F4 are losing their powers one time that they need him desperately. So what is going to be on with this? Doom Academy issue number 3, as Zoe fights the monsters of your childhood nightmares, which is pretty cool. Why do you rescue the good plans? Always involve asking people you don't really like for help. Here's a look at the regular cover by Villalobos, and then the variant cover here as well by Woo Chul Lee. Thunderbolts Doomstrike by Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing, along with Tommaso Bianchi on art, with a wonderful cover by the amazing Lionel Francis Yu. Here's a look at the regular cover, and here is a look at the variant cover by Mark Bagley. Doom's Division number 2 by Yoon Ha Lee and Minkyu Young, with a cover by Craes Lee. An all-new Super Team Unites wave is back, one of my favorite characters over at Marvel. This is definitely going to be a pickup for me. I love Minkyu Young's artwork. Here is a look at the Momoko variant cover as well. Under Doom, Tiger Division has 3 new members, Wave, Karma, and Arrow. This time they are joined by Sunfire. We also have a continuation of Predator versus Spider-Man, as they are continuing the line of these Predator versus the Marvel Universe series by none other than Benjamin Percy on these 4-issue slots. Marcelo Ferreira is going to be joining him on art, and here is a look at a variant and another variant by Ryan Brown. So if you want to see that again, this is by Ferreira and this is by Ryan Brown. So this time we got Spider-Man. This is 40 pages for $5.99 retail. As if the game hasn't already gotten enough attention, Paul Allure and Luca Claretti have been doing a only available through Marvel Unlimited, but now it is heading to shops. Issues 1 through 6 of the Unlimited Infinity comic are now going to be available in print. Here is a look at the cover by Toki Toko and a cover by Federico Sabatini. Web of Venomverse Fresh Brains, Matt Groom is now over at Marvel. I find it interesting because we have a lot of creators thrown into the wind with this. They're probably going to be 4 to 6 page stories, considering that it is 32 pages and $4.99. But we have the Venomverse upon us. They've been doing a lot of Venom events for the last 2.5-3 years, or ever since Donny Cates has left the book. They've been wondering, what do we do with the Venoms? Well, this is what we are going to be into. Wolverine and Kitty Pryde, Chris Claremont back on the dynamic duo of none other than Logan and Kitty Pryde. This is going to be a 5-issue series with Damian Kokero on the art and a cover by Alan Davis. Here is a look at the variant cover by Ricky Yagawa. Here is a look at the variant by Marcus Toe with Eric Arciniega on colors. This is the variant with Todd Knock and Rachel Rosenberg. A look at the cover with Eddie Granoff, and then Bengus's Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection. Weapon X-Men is the last of these slots, I guess going back into time with these, with Joe Casey and Chris Cross on the art. Here's a look at the cover for issue number 3 by Chris Cross, and then a look at the variant by Steve Scrose. From the Ashes is going to continue a lot of their storylines, and of course we do have Uncanny X-Men by issue number 13 with, if you haven't read this week's issue, I would suggest reading it because we have some interesting things with the lineage of some characters. The Dark Artery starts here as four young outliers discover the true meaning of Haven House and a doorway that should never be opened. This is the cover to issue number 13 by Dave Marquez and Matt Wilson. This is another cover by the amazing David Mack and then Luciano Vecchio, continuing on with their variant covers for this series as well. X-Men number 14 and 15, we see that the town of Merle enlists the X-Men to aid in a search and rescue operation for a missing child, one closer to the X-Men than the sheriff knows. While the X-Men search for Piper Cobb, they are themselves being watched as their shadowy 3K adversaries move to strike directly, their own agenda unfolding. Here's a look at the regular cover by Ryan Stegman. Here is a look at another one of those Marvel Universe covers, and then, of course, Cassandra Nova, because we need Cassandra Nova. And then X-Men number 15, we have a continuation of said plot in Merle. Here's a look at the regular cover by Ryan Stegman with Scott Ilyana. There is a look at a Cyclops variant, and then Bengus's Marvel vs. Capcom. Moving on, we do have issue 10 of Phoenix as we see Jean Grey head on to her final battle to defeat the Idani, whose connection to the Phoenix Force makes this battle exceptionally dangerous, and as she struggles to hold on to her humanity, Idani and the Dark Gods seek to end her time in this galaxy for good. So what will happen to Jean Grey after this issue? We shall see. Storm issue number 7 sees Luciano Vecchio on art this time instead of Lucas Wernick. Here is a cover by Mateus Manhanini with another cover by none other than Gerard Perel and then Marguerite Savage. Serpents, Salamanders, and Storm Gods. 50 years ago, Aurora Monroe, the iconic Storm, made her debut in Giant Size X-Men number 1, thundering her way into our hearts. So yes, there will be reinventions and guest appearances of 5 gods: Thor, Chak, Sango, Mamaragan, and Susanoo. But first, a mission to Brazil goes horribly wrong, so what will go on there? We shall see. Continuing on, we have 2 issues here, showcased and listed, the first of which is NYX10, Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing, with Francesco Mordarino on art, with, of course, art by the amazing Sarah Pichelli on the main cover. Here is a look at issue 10's cover, and then here is a look at the variant by Federica Manson. City that walks like a spineless one, Mojo is coming to wreck the town. And then X Factor number 9 with another cover by Greg Land and Bob Quinn, joined with Mark Russell yet again. And when Havoc was the leader of X Factor, he handled all manner of distasteful missions for questionable interests. And what kind of Black Ops operations could they have him for now? I'm actually interested in this because I love Archangel a lot more than Angel. Psylocke issue number 6 continues on the Alyssa Wong and the story that they are trying to tell, along with Vincenzo Karatu, with a wonderful cover by the amazing Mahmoud Asrar as always. Here's a look at the cover by Fan Yang, and as we see here, Psylocke is one of the X-Men's most dangerous and skillful telepaths. She's begun to accept her past. What are things that are better buried? And then Jeffrey Thorne is joining Fabian Nicieza this time on the backup, with Edgar Salazar on the backup as well. Marcus Toe continuing on with Steven Segovia on the covers as per the usual. This is the 300th celebration of X-Force, as we have gotten to a point where there are 300 issues of X-Force, with a key appearance by somebody we do not know. Laura Kinney Wolverine continues as Erica Schultz, and Yada Belviso joins her on art this time. We get Laura versus Hydra this time, with Bucky Barnes, the new revolution. We shall see who makes out of this road trip alive. Here's a look at the regular cover, and here's a look at the variant for Laura Kinney Wolverine. Exceptional X-Men, continuing on Eve Ewing and Carmen Carnero's epic. I don't think we've had a fill-in for Carnero yet. That is a very nice sight to see, with Sinister looking at Kitty Pryde and Emma Frost as they are stuck inside, with Bobby also struggling to get some fresh air. Here's a look at the variant as well by Sawi. Our guy AXO is in trouble. So what is going on with that? He's bitten off more than he can chew in his relationship with charismatic technologist and Verate CEO Sheldon Xenos, and now he's being held hostage while an Alex clone wanders around in his stead. Can they bail him out, or will they fall for the dupe of their beloved friend? Wolverine number 8 also sees another one of these big milestone issues with issue number 400, this time with Daniel Warren Johnson back in the backups. A special story by him with, of course, the regular appearances of Saladin Ahmed on writing and Martin Coccolo on the art. Here's a look at the regular cover by Martin Coccolo. Here's a look at the cover by Andy Kubert and Laura Martin on colors. Jerome Pena, and then one with Bengus as well. There is also a Daniel Warren Johnson variant cover, but we do not have that in yet. Next up, we do have Sabretooth the Dead Don't Talk, issue number 5 by Frank Thierry, Michael S.T.A. Maria, I never know how to say that name, and then Carlo Pagulayan here on the cover. Love that, love that, love that. Here's a look at the variant cover by Rafael De La Torre, who I know mainly for Daredevil by Chip Zdarsky. So, who is the Crocodilian, and how will they collect the bodies for Mr. Sinister? Cable, Love, and Chrome issue number 4 by David Pepos and Mike Henderson, with a cover by Ian Churchill as displayed on your screen. A mission through time as the Prime Conclave stands defeated, but when Avery Ryder succumbs to the techno-organic virus, what will Cable do in the meanstead, and how will he deal this with the time machine and the time stream? Magic number 4 is going to continue on with Ileana's solo series with a cover by none other than J. Scott Campbell, and this also has a guest appearance by Danny Moonstar. Kid Juggernaut is one of those Marvel Unlimited first turn to print, so this is going to be in print for the first time. Kid Juggernaut of the Avengers Academy cast is going to be in print here with Emily Kim on writing, and Ming-Kyu Jung and Peter Nguyen on art. Variant cover by DK. Rogue the Savage Land by Tim Seeley and Zulima Scotto Lavina. Here is a look at the regular cover by Kari Andrews, this time Shauna the She-Devil joining Rogue along the ride this time, with a variant cover by Ivan Talavera. Spirits of Violence number 2 by Sabir Pirzada and Paul Davidson. I reported that this comic got delayed all the way to October, so this is probably just a push on with this time, and then it'll be pushed off later. As it actually stands right now, we don't have issue number 1 on Penguin Random House, so that should probably tell you something, but nonetheless, we do have issue 2 continuing on that here. And one thing I do want to highlight before we get into the Ultimate Universe is Ironheart Bad Chemistry by John Jennings, who wrote a Silver Surfer story not too long ago, along with Jethro Morales. This is a brand new Ironheart ongoing, probably coinciding with the TV show that is to be out soon. Here's a look at the regular cover by Ader Messias, and then here is a look at the variant cover by Godtail. The Ultimate Universe needs its own spotlight, and what better way to do it than the 12-issue series of Ultimate Wolverine with Chris Condon and Alessandro Cappuccio back on the interiors. This is a Logan that is in a very, very different spot, and by Logan, I do mean the Winter Soldier. So, who is this Logan? What are they about? What's Kitty Pryde and Gambit doing here? Here's a look at the variant cover by Ivan Coelho. I would love to see Ivan back on Iban, is that how you say it? Back on interiors. Here's a look at the David Aja variant of Ultimate Wolverine, and by golly, I love the negative space. I don't think there's many artists out there in comics, besides the exception of Frank Miller, that do negative space better than David Aja. Here's a look at Lionel Francis Hughes' Magic, or Ultimate Magic, I should say, for Ultimate Wolverine. Ultimate Black Panther with Stefano Caselli and Brian Hill, of course, continuing there. Continuing on as well is Ultimate Black Panther number 15 with Brian Hill, Stefano Caselli for $4.99, 32 pages. Here is a look at the cover by Stefano Caselli. Here is a look at the cover by Rod Reyes. This is the Ultimate Special cover variant. And then a cover. This is by Cale New. Ultimate Spider-Man number 16, routinely one of my favorite comics that I always look forward to putting at the top of the pile every year. David Messina is going to be illustrating this villain issue after we've had 3 straight Marco Cacchetto. So what is the secret origin of Mysterio? And I think that's going to be the case for a lot of the Ultimate Spider-Man issues going forward. Fill-ins and origin stories are going to be done in by David Messina, and then Cacchetto will be on the mainline books thereafter. Here is a look again at the regular cover for the secret origin of Mysterio by Marco Cacchetto and Matt Wilson. Here is a look at the variant cover by Gerardo Sandoval. And we do not have the cover in for CF Via yet, but this is a cover by Michael Walsh featuring the black suit for Ultimate Spider-Man. Ultimate X-Men number 14, as the Shadow King returns more powerful than ever, what will happen to Armor and the rest of her friends? Here is a look at the regular cover by Peach Momoko. Here is a look at the variant cover by Gurihiru. I love that creative team. And then another cover in, this time it says TBA, but the credits I do have here are by Nicoletta Baldari. And last but not least for the Ultimate Universe, we do have Ultimates number 11 by Denise Camp and Juan Frigeri with art by DK Rawan. Here is a look at Loki, the Ultimate Loki. Goodness, good stuff. And then a look at the variant by Ario Anindito. And you can find the rest of these solicitations at comicreleases.com, just in case if you guys are wondering where to find these. I won't be going over every single one of them, but this is where you can find the rest of the solicits. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at the Star Wars books, the first of which is Star Wars: A Legacy of Vader by Charles Soule and Luke Ross, as we are headed towards the next era of Star Wars under Alex Segura, which is coming in May. Charles Soule is continuing the Kylo Ren prisoner on Tatooine part of this specific arc, and the young tyrant must survive harsh conditions. This is the variant cover by Stephanie Hans. Here is the regular cover by Derek Chu. Star Wars Jedi Knights by Mark Guggenheim and Madibek Musabekov with art by Raza on the regular cover. Here's a look at the regular cover. Here is a look at the Torrin Clark variant for Yoda. Here is a look at the Phil Noto cover for Jedi Knights. And then here is a look at the Dan Jurgens and Brett Breeding inking cover by those two creators specifically. The last two we see here are the Rise of Skywalker adaptation by Jody Hauser and Will Sliney. So if you guys are looking to get the adaptation of that episode 9 movie, you can get it here as well. And then last but not least, we do have High Republic Fear of the Jedi by Cavan Scott and Marika Cresta. Here's a look at the regular cover by Phil Noto, and here is a look at a cover by Ramon Rosanis. If you haven't yet, check out our website, comicreleases.com, my and Webhead's love letter to comics, a hotspot where you can finally figure out what's coming out, when, from what place. Our unique upcoming website tracker in the Collected Editions tab makes sure that you're on top of every single collected edition coming out on the market, with release date updates to the minute, from the tiniest graphic novels to the giant Generator Deluxe hardcovers as large as an absolute. Our unique spreadsheet not only gives out the most accurate information out there, but our format also filters and ensure that you can find your books as quickly as possible. The tracker also gives out links to domestic and international retailers so that you can purchase your comic books at the snap of a finger. We are also proud to host monthly solicitations as per given by the publishers that generously send us information to give to you all. From the Ultimate Universe to the creator-loved Oceans and Universes, we specialize in giving you the most readable format of solicitations without any of the annoying advertisements. If you also donate to our Patreon at just $2 a month, which is less than a coffee at Starbucks, you will receive access to a special watch list dedicated to individually tracking items that are on your wish list, past or present. Place in your tracking number and make sure that these books also not only come in safe, you can even put in special comments on these as well. On top of that, your name will also show up at the end of every single Dom of X video creates as a huge thank you. That is comicreleases.com. For more information, check this out down in the description.
If you also want to contact me or Webhead, check the contact forms down in the description or email me down in the description.
Let me know down in the comments section if you are planning to pick any of these up, and if so, which ones are you excited for? I am specifically excited for Pepe, Larraz, and Spider-Man, but let me know what you think down in the comment section below. I am Dom of X, you be you. Take care and dominate the day wherever you go.